After Daenerys and William got done with the break on the palace terrace, they go back past the library that leads off to a different direction with the flag into the Genealogical Hall of Records library. And then, as they sit down and get comfortable, she then lets him know of the changes that will come to a new ruler. This next scroll I'm handing you will tell you of the peace that we had in between the first Blackfyre Rebellion and the next one that was yet to come. This would also come with a new uh, king of the House of Targaryen, because King Daeron II had lived a long, good life, and unfortunately, there was a spring sickness, but it wasn't just his life that it took. So more than one person got sick then. Yes. It sounds like, from my world, like it's something like the flu, but very contagious. Well, no one has figured this out yet. Unlike your world that you told me has many advancements, we don't have such advancements to know about the sickness, but it seems to claim somebody's life in the springtime. In any case, William, um, this will cover more births of children. Unfortunately, some still, those who are born stillborn. And of course, the House Blackfyre has their own heirs. All right, well, Daenerys, I'm ready to continue on then with the reign of King Daeron II. So she hands him the scroll, and he opens it up and continues his lesson studies with the final reign of King Daeron II. It is now time to see where the final reign of King Daeron II leads. So at this time, as we look further now into more births, deaths, and unfortunately, stillborns, the first one that we come to is, again, as we had briefly touched on it, we'll touch on it again, is that of Valar Targaryen. Prince Valar Targaryen, known as the Young Prince, was the oldest son of Baelor Breakspear, Prince of Dragonstone, and Lady Jenna Dondarrin. His appearance for Prince Valar looked much like his father Baelor, though he was smaller and thinner. He had brown hair with a streak of silver gold running through it. He had blue eyes. In history, Prince Valar was born the eldest son of Prince Baelor Targaryen and his wife, Lady Jenna Dondarrin. He had one younger brother, Prince Matarys. At some point, Valar was married to Kiera of Teosh. They had sons, but all were stillborn. Matarys Targaryen. Matarys Targaryen, called the even younger prince by a fool, was the second son of Prince Baelor Targaryen and Lady Jenna Dondarrin. In history, as the second son to King Daeron II Targaryen's heir, Matarys was in line for the Iron Throne. However, after his father Baelor had died in 209 AC during the Ashford Tourney, the Great Spring Sickness struck Westeros. Rhaegal Targaryen. Prince Rhaegal Targaryen was the third son of King Daeron II Targaryen and Queen Moriah Martell. In history, Rhaegal was meek, mad, and sickly. During the reign of King Aerys I, it was widely believed that Rhaegal was crazy as he had been seen dancing naked through the Red Keep. Rhaegal was married to Lady Alice Arryn and had 3 children, the twins Aelor and Alora, and daughter Daenora. He became Prince of Dragonstone in 209 AC, when his elder brother, Prince Aerys, ascended the Iron Throne. As Aerys had no children of his own, Rhaegal died in 215 AC whilst choking on a lamprey pie. His son, Prince Aelor, the new Prince of Dragonstone, would not long outlive him. Maekar the First, not to be confused with Maegor the First. King Maekar I Targaryen was Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and the 14th Targaryen to sit the Iron Throne. He was the 4th son of King Daeron II and was given the Targaryen seat of Summerhall and was thus known as the Prince of Summerhall. Maekar was a capable army commander who served in 2 of the Blackfyre Rebellions. After a number of unexpected deaths in the royal family, he came to the throne in 221 AC. Appearance and character. Maekar was powerfully built and wore a beard. His eyes were violet, and his hair was such a pale blonde that it was almost white. He had straight hair and a square-cut beard, both being the color of silver with a hint of gold. He was thickly built and powerful-looking. Pox scars marred his cheeks. Maekar had his own personal coat of arms, the 3-headed Targaryen dragon, quartered, as King Maekar wore a crown of black iron points in a band of red gold. Maekar was a harsh man, quick to judge and to condemn. Unlike his brother Baelor, he was not charismatic and could not make friends and allies easily. After Baelor's accidental death by his hands, Maekar became even more stern and unforgiving. For the biography of his youth, Maekar was the 4th son of King Daeron II Targaryen and Queen Maria Martell. He had 3 older brothers, Baelor, Aerys, and Rhaegal. While King Daeron was no warrior, it was noted that 2 of his sons, Baelor and Maekar, appeared to be all that could be wished in a knight, lord, or heir. Baelor was a tourney champion at 17, and Maekar seemed likely to show similar skills. As a 4th son, Maekar was not expected to rule. He married young to Lady Diana Dane and had 4 sons and 2 daughters, Daeron, Arion, Aemon, Daela, Aegon, and Rhea. Maekar was given the Targaryen summer residence of Summerhall for his own seat. Blackfyre Rebellion. During the first Blackfyre Rebellion, in 196 AC, Maekar served as one of the Targaryen commanders. It was his shield wall that held against the mad attack of his uncle Bittersteel in the Battle of the Redgrass Field. While his brother Baelor Breakspear attacked the rebel army from the rear with a host of Stormlords and Dornishmen, Maekar rallied what remained of Lord Donal Arryn's vanguard and made an unyielding anvil against which the rebels were hammered and destroyed, and the battle was won. Later, a song about the hammer and the anvil was made about the battle, with Baelor as the hammer and Maekar as the anvil. Nevertheless, Maekar felt unappreciated. The victory was more attributed to his brother and the heirs of Daemon Blackfyre than to his efforts. In other things, he also stood in the shadow of his brothers, wounding his pride. Raymond Fossaway said of him, "Not as bold as Prince Baelor, nor as clever as Prince Aerys, nor as gentle as Prince Rhaegal, and now he must suffer seeing his own sons overshadowed by his brothers." Quote, unquote. Sometime around 207 AC or 208 AC, King Daeron II had 4 grown sons. 3 with sons of their own. He felt that having too many potential Targaryen heirs was dangerous, and sent Maekar's 3rd son, Aemon, to the Citadel to become a maester, despite his father's objections. Maekar's wife, Deanna Dane, died sometime before 209 AC. Tourney at Ashford. In 209 AC, a tournament was held in Ashford. Maekar attended to see his sons, Daeron and Aerion, compete, and his 4th son, Aegon, was to squire for Daeron. Unfortunately, the tourney at Ashford Meadow proved disastrous for Maekar and his sons. Daeron drank himself into a stupor before reaching the tournament. Aegon joined the service of the hedge knight Duncan the Tall in disguise as Egg. And Aerion shamed himself during the joust by deliberately killing his opponent's horse. When Dunk attacked Aerion to defend an innocent puppeteer, and Aerion demanded a trial by combat, Maekar supported Aerion's call for vengeance, as well as Daeron's accusation that Dunk had kidnapped Aegon. During the trial of 7, Maekar came to blows with his brother Baelor, who fought for Dunk, and delivered a lethal mace blow to Baelor's head. Baelor survived the trial, but died soon after taking off his helmet. Maekar suspected that he would thereafter be held in suspicion as a kinslayer. Dealing with the problems of his sons, Maekar banished Aerion to the Free Cities and offered Dunk a position in his personal guard to serve as a role model for Aegon. After Dunk refused, Maekar allowed Aegon to accompany Dunk as his squire. Maekar made Aegon promise to keep his hair shaved or dyed, to remain incognito, and also give him a signet ring with his personal seal for his protection in case of emergencies. Belligeir Otherys, courtesan. Belligeir Otherys is the courtesan in Braavos called the Black Pearl. This is what we know about her. She is descendant from the first Black Pearl, also named Belligeir Otherys, and former King Aegon IV Targaryen. Her mother, Bellinora Otherys, was the previous Black Pearl before her. She is young and lovely with black hair, light brown skin, and full breasts. A Braavosi girl named Mercy believes the name the Brown Pearl would be more fitting due to Belligeir's light brown skin color. As a side note, this is the last that you will hear of the Black Pearl because there is no further lineage or genealogy that was ever documented. Jane Waters. Jane Waters was the bastard daughter of Lord Alan Valerian and Princess Aelena Targaryen. In history, Jane was the bastard daughter of the seafarer Lord Alan Valerian, known as the Oakenfist, and Princess Aelena Targaryen. She had a twin brother, John Waters. Sir John Waters was the bastard son of Lord Alan Valerian and Princess Aelena Targaryen. He became a famous knight. In history, John Waters was the bastard son of the seafarer Lord Alan Valerian, called the Oakenfist, and Princess Elena Targaryen. He had a twin sister, Jane Waters. Elena had hoped to marry Alan, but he was lost at sea. John's trueborn son, also a great knight, changed the family name to Longwaters to remove the taint of bastardy. His line continues until the present times. This now comes for a very brief detail as to who the survivors were of the first Blackfyre Rebellion. There is no actual record to this, and is merely speculation and conjecture, but nevertheless noteworthy to be brought forward. Aegar Rivers Targaryen, best known as Bittersteel, having gone incognito, took his wife, Kayla Blackfyre Targaryen, who is the wife of Aegar Rivers, with him to Esseros. It was in this matter that he decided that she, along with the widow, Rohan, daughter of Archon of Tyrosh, and the widow of Daemon I Blackfyre Targaryen, should go into exile for their own safety, that no one would ever know of their location. It was also further noted that the remaining children should be saved as well, so that Blackfyre would not be totally extinguished from all of history. The first one, of course, as we remember, having all gold armor and short hair and well-trimmed beard, was the sixth son of Daemon I Blackfyre Targaryen. Next was one who had somewhat lengthy, wavy hair, with special armor overlaid by chainmail, and it was quite the skilled knight of the short sword dagger, as well as the sword that he bared. Next was the first of two daughters, daughter of Daemon I Blackfyre Targaryen, who was dressed in all red, with a brighter sheer lining of red under the dress that she wore, with the red scarf over the head, and two golden armlets. And finally, the second daughter of Daemon I Blackfyre Targaryen, who mainly wore red and black, and whose tongue was sharper than any sword, wore a tiara crown, because she felt she was as good as a princess, though no one could argue this with her, because of the attitude she portrayed. All four children mentioned, our identity is kept secret and never revealed for their own safety, and thus Aegar Rivers, best known as Bittersteel, had snuck them across to Esseros to live out the remainder of their days, and in a safe distance, perhaps even help in plotting a second rebellion, but never to be found or discovered by those that they would oppose in the House of Targaryen in Westeros. Aegar Rivers Bittersteel returned in full armor, and this is where he starts making plans with the plots from Essos to prepare for the second rebellion, the Blackfyre Rebellion. We're now looking at the continuation of the House Blackfyre Rebellion genealogical records. While the first rebellion was a very long, tedious, and bloody battle, the next ones most likely won't be as tedious and long, because it won't be of a direct bastard descendant of former King Aegon IV. In any case, with the remaining surviving widow and remaining children safely across in Essos, Aegar Rivers, better known as Bettersteel, returns in full armor. And again, his seagull is that of a red stallion with black dragon wings snorting fire on a gold field. Now, we had touched just briefly that he had a golden company with him, but they weren't exactly fully trained, though trained enough to do some damage. But now he wants to have them prepared for the second rebellion, which is yet to be announced. The Golden Company. Aegar served a year with the Second Sons before leaving to create the Golden Company, a famous mercenary organization to stop the loss of support for the Blackfyres as other exile lords began to join other mercenary companies. While sellswords are notoriously unreliable, the Golden Company has a respectable reputation. They are said to have never broken a contract. The words of the Golden Company are, quote, beneath the gold the bitter steel, unquote, and refer to Aegon's nickname, Bittersteel. Shortly after its creation, the Golden Company became one of the most famous and disciplined sellsword companies known in the pre-cities. They quickly established their reputation by sacking Quohar when the city refused to honor its contract. The Golden Company was heavily involved in 3 of the 4 Blackfyre Rebellions that followed the first one. While Aegar refused to support Daemon II Blackfyre during the Second Blackfyre Rebellion in 211 AC, he supported Aegon I Blackfyre in the Third Blackfyre Rebellion in 219 AC. Daemon II Blackfyre. Daemon II Blackfyre, also known as Daemon the Younger, was the 3rd son of Daemon I Blackfyre. He used the alias John the Fiddler, a hedge knight, while traveling incognito through the 7 kingdoms. He led the brief Second Blackfyre Rebellion, and as you can see in his seagull, he has sported the Fiddler seagull. Character and appearance. When meeting him under the alias of, quote, Sir John the Fiddler, unquote, Sir Duncan the Tall thought of Daemon II as, quote, a young man lean and lithe, with a calmly clean-shaved face and fine features, unquote. He had collar-length black hair and eyes that caught the deep blue of his doublet. Dunk noted he had, quote, egg eyes, unquote. After revealing himself as the son of Daemon I Blackfyre, Daemon the Younger washed the black dye from his hair to reveal its silver gold color. Daemon had a love of music and fine things. He had a close relationship with Lord Alan Cockshaw. George R.R. Martin has confirmed that Daemon was a homosexual. Daemon had prophetic dreams. He correctly dreamed that his brothers Aegon and Aemon would die and that Dunk would become a knight of the King's Guard. He also dreamed that a dragon would hatch from an egg at White Walls, but this turned out to be a metaphor. In history of his early life, Daemon was born in Westeros, the 3rd son of Daemon I Blackfyre and Rohan of Tyrosh. As a child, he became close friends with Alan Cockshaw, and they were bullied by Daemon's older brothers, Aegon and Aemon, in 196 AC, When he was 7 years old, his father began the first Blackfyre Rebellion. After the death of his father and his older brothers at the Battle of the Red Grass Field, Daemon went into exile in Tyrosh with his surviving family and with Aegar Rivers. Hagen First Blackfyre. Hagen First Blackfyre was the fourth son of Daemon First Blackfyre. He was the heir to his older brother, Daemon Second Blackfyre. In history, after the Battle of the Red Grass Field and the failure of the First Blackfyre Rebellion, Hagen was taken to Tyrosh by his uncle Bittersteel. In exile, he had at least 2 sons, the eldest of which he named Daemon. In 219 AC, Hagen launched the Third Blackfyre Rebellion, which ended in failure. He was slain treacherously after he gave up his sword. As you can see here, this is a visual of perhaps what his betrothed wife and mother of Daemon III Blackfyre would have appeared as. She was possibly a trader of goods across the narrow sea. Daemon III Blackfyre. Daemon III Blackfyre was the eldest son of Hagon I Blackfyre. In history of his youth, born in exile, Daemon was the eldest son of Hagon, who was the fourth son of Daemon I Blackfyre. Shiera Seastar. Shiera Seastar was the last of the great bastards of King Aegon IV Targaryen, born to his last mistress, Serenai of Lys, the known lover of Brynden Rivers. She is said to have been the most beautiful woman of the 7 kingdoms. In appearance and character, Shiera was renowned as a beauty and seductress with long Targaryen silver gold hair and a heart-shaped face, although she had 2 mismatched eyes, one blue, the other green. It was said that the defect only enhanced her beauty. She was fond of ivory and lace and cloth of silver, but not gold, which she considered too vulgar. Shiera was a great reader, even at an early age, spoke many languages, and maintained a large and arcane library. She also was reputed to share her mother Serenai's skill in the dark arts. Shiera was known to possess a heavy silver necklace, alternating star sapphires and emeralds to complement her unusual eyes. In history, King Aegon IV Targaryen sired Shiera upon the 9th and last of his mistresses, Lady Serenai of Lys. She died in childbed, bringing forth Shiera, the child's name meaning Star of the Sea. Shiera never married, but took many lovers, and numerous duels were fought for her favor. Her half-brother Brynden Rivers, known as Bloodraven, was for her most ardent suitor and repeatedly proposed marriage to her. Although she refused to marry him, Shiera did share her bed with him and was amused with his jealousy. Her other half-brother, Aegar Rivers, known as Bittersteel, also desired her, which only served to increase the hatred between Bloodraven and Bittersteel. Valar Targaryen, son of Jaina and Baelor Breakspear. Valar Targaryen, who is the firstborn son of Baelor Breakspear and his wife, Jenna Dondarrion. He had married a Kiera or Maris of Tyrosh, which is part of the Esseros continent. With the marriage of both Kira and Valar, they attempted to have a son. Unfortunately, this firstborn son, whose name is unknown, was born stillborn. Ashford Tourney. In 209 AC, Valar was one of the original champions for the daughter of Lord Ashford at the start of the tourney at Ashford Meadow. But his status as a Targaryen prince, grandson of King Daeron II Targaryen, and future heir to the Iron Throne, prevented him from facing dangerous opponents. He won at least 9 jousts, including against Sir Abelar Hightower and Lord Gawain Swan, and remained a champion after the first day's jousting. During Sir Duncan the Tall's trial of 7, Valar's father, Prince Baelor Breakspear, took part as the 7th knight on Dunk's side. However, as Baelor had not expected to fight in the tourney, he had not brought any armor to Ashford with him. Therefore, he borrowed Valar's armor, causing Dunk to briefly believe Valar was about to champion him. Valar died in the trial, and Valar stood vigil by his body at the funeral. When Dunk tried to offer his sympathies, Valar dismissed him. After the death of his father, again, Valar Targaryen, son of Jenna Dondarrion, which is his mother, and Baelor Breakspear, tried again for having a son with his wife Kiera, or Maris of Tyrosh, a city in the continent of Essos. Once again, as the son was born, the son turned out to be stillborn. Daenerys Targaryen. Daenerys died from the illness, which was caused by what is called the Great Spring Sickness, that struck Westeros. And as did his older brother Valar and grandfather King Daeron II in King's Landing. This then would end the line of Prince Baelor and led to the ascent of King Aerys I Targaryen. Prior to Valar Targaryen's death, because of the spring sickness that struck Westeros, again, and as pleasing as Kiera or Maris of Tyrosh city in Essos was to Valar, they tried one more time to have a child. And as the last 2 times, the child was born stillborn. Unfortunately, the sadness didn't end there. In death, Valar died in 209 AC from the Great Spring Sickness, as did his younger brother Matrees, and their grandfather King Daeron II of Targaryen. In 211 AC, Duncan and Prince Aegon Targaryen heard a septon in Stony Sap preach that the hand of the king, Brynden Rivers, had killed Valar's sons in their mother's womb, and suggest that Brynden was responsible for Valar's death. The septon was later beheaded for speaking treason. Now, unfortunately, the spring sickness was not done there. As it hit Westeros, it made its through King's Landing all the way up to the Red Keep. And by the time it reached into the palace, it unfortunately also ended King Daeron II's life. Upon his death, King Daeron II had titles: King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men. King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men is the first title borne by the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros, whose seat is the Red Keep in King's Landing. George R.R. Martin has also used King of the Andals and the Rhoynar and the First Men. In history, originally crowned as king of all Westeros and shield of his people by his sister wife Rhaenys, Aegon I Targaryen abandoned these titles when he was crowned by the High Septon at the Starry Sept of Old Town as King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, and Protector of the Realm. This title indicated that Aegon claimed authority over the Dornish, descendants of the Rhoynar people, despite their successful resistance in Aegon's conquest. At the start of the Dance of the Dragons, Prince Daemon Targaryen crowned his wife Rhaenyra Targaryen as Queen of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, in opposition to Rhaenyra's half-brother Aegon II Targaryen. The civil war ended with Rhaenyra and Aegon II both dead, and Rhaenyra's son, Aegon III, sitting the Iron Throne. Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. Lord of the Seven Kingdoms is the title claimed by the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros, whose seat is the Red Keep in King's Landing. The title is frequently preceded by that of King of the Andals and the Rhoynar and the First Men, and the king is usually the protector of the realm. The Lord of the Seven Kingdoms is advised by the hand of the king and the small council. In history, after landing at the mouth of the Blackwater Rush, Aegon the Conqueror was crowned by his sister Visenya as Aegon, first of his name, king of all Westeros and shield of his people. When Aegon was anointed by the High Septon at Old Town Starry Sept after the War of Conquest, he was named Aegon of House Targaryen, the first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protector of the Realm. Despite claiming authority over all of them, the kings of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men did not rule all seven kingdoms until Dorne joined the realm during the reign of King Daeron II Targaryen. However, Protector of the Realm, now renounced. Protector of the Realm is one of the three titles held by the ruler of the Seven Kingdoms, along with King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, and Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. The title seems to be of a military nature, referring to the overall command of the king over the armies of the Seven Kingdoms, as it has been held by regents in case of infancy or incapacitation of the ruling king. King may also renounce the title and grant it of his own accord. Later reign. After the first Blackfyre Rebellion, Daeron took lands, castles, and hostages from those lords who fought for House Blackfyre as punishment. The rest of Daeron's reign was peaceful. Daeron and Maria Martell had 4 sons: Baelor, Aerys, Rhaegal, and Maekar. Daeron's eldest son and heir apparent, Baelor Breakspear, the Prince of Dragonstone, served as his father's hand of the king during the later portion of his reign. Baelor served ably as hand, and many saw in Baelor a great man who would become a great king after his father. However, tragedy struck at the tourney at Ashford Meadow in 209 AC, when Baelor was accidentally slain by Maekar, during a trial of 7 involving Sir Duncan the Tall. King Daeron II died the next year in the Great Spring Sickness, along with 2 of his grandchildren, Prince Baelor and Matarys. He was succeeded by his second son, Aerys I Targaryen. Daeron had reigned for 25 years, and most of those years had seen peace and plenty for the realm. This is a copy of Daeron II's genealogy. Aerys I Targaryen was a lord of the 7 kingdoms and the 13th Targaryen to sit the Iron Throne. He succeeded his father, Daeron II Targaryen. Parents and character. According to semi-canon sources, Aerys was bookish, was spindly, and stooped with long, straight hair. He had a long, thin face, a long, thin mustache, and a long, pointed beard. He wore the crown of Aegon IV Targaryen on his coinage. He was depicted with a beard. Aerys was a bookish man who preferred reading to ruling, and it was said in the 7 kingdoms that Aerys would sooner bring a book to his bed rather than his wife. In history of his youth, Aerys Targaryen was the second son of Daeron II Targaryen and Mariah Martell. He was very much interested in books about ancient prophecy and higher mysteries. He was married to his cousin, Lady Aelinor Penrose, but he never showed any interest in getting her with child. Instead, shunning her bed, rumor had it that Aerys had not even consummated the marriage. Aerys' nephew Aegon once recalled that as a boy, he heard Aerys read about the return of dragons in a prophecy. Viserys Plum. Lord Viserys Plum was the head of House Plum during the reign of King Aerys I Targaryen. As a side note, this would mean then that as soon as King Aerys I took the throne, then he also finally was old enough or mature enough to assume his role as the head of the House Plum position. Aelinor Penrose. Queen Aelinor Penrose was a lady of House Penrose who married King Aerys I Targaryen. In history, Aelinor was married to her cousin, Prince Aerys Targaryen. He never showed any interest in getting her with child, instead of shunning her bed. Rumor had it that Aerys never even consummated the marriage. When Aerys ascended to the throne as King Aerys I, his small council urged the king to put Aelinor aside and marry another, hoping that Aerys' behavior was caused by dislike of her. However, King Aerys would not listen, and so Aelinor remained his wife. In conclusion of now former King Daeron II Targaryen's rule, there are at least 3 quotes about Daeron. He was a good king. Everybody says so. He brought Dorne into the realm and made the Dornishmen our friends. By Aegon V Targaryen to Duncan the Tall. A king's mercy is poisoned gift. Daeron Targaryen left me life, but took my pride and dreams and honor. Eustace Osprey to Duncan the Tall. The whole realm knew that the girl loved Daeron's bastard brother Daemon Blackfyre, and was loved by him in turn. But the king was wise enough to see that the good of thousands must come before the desires of 2, even if those 2 were dear to him. by Duran Martel de Balin Swan. As we've only finished reading this part of the many births and 3 unfortunate deaths and a few stillborns for the House of Targaryen record, William then looks up at Daenerys, who's waiting to see what his comments will be. Well, I guess you can see now that we'll have a new king that you'll be reading about, Aerys, the first Targaryen. Though he read many books and wasn't much for showing his wife affections. No, I imagine not. I hope I wouldn't be that boring. No, I don't see you doing that, William. So as William walks around the side of the table, you know, I do happen to have a surprise for you. She kind of looks over her shoulder at him. A surprise? Yeah, it's, well, I guess I better confess. Um, it's another human custom. She kind of has a slight smile. And you were going to tell me this when? Well, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you right away. I'm sure even Tyrion will like it. It'll give him a chance to eat, drink, and be merry. I see. Well, it is getting close to lunch. Well, actually, I was kind of hoping maybe we might take the rest of the day off, because it's part of the custom. Okay. And what is this custom? Well, in the world I came from, the dark blue star that shines brightly in the Valerian night sky, we call Earth. From the kingdom, it's not a kingdom. United States of America. I'm not sure how the other kingdoms around the world of Earth did it, but we called it Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. Well, like it's a celebration to give thanks for your health, that you're alive and well. But I was risen from the dead. Well, from what I understand, so was Jon Snow, but I don't think he complained very much. Well, then again, I wouldn't know. I wasn't here when he was risen from the dead. Or you. Yeah. She has a slight smile, but shaking her head a bit. Okay, and so what does this custom do? Well, you get to eat and socialize and visit, and if there's any food left over, you get to eat some more. Not that you're trying to be like Aegon the Fourth. That's probably kind of funny. Are you trying to crack a human joke about my heraldry, William? No, that was not the intent. But in any case, would you be interested in trying this out? So when did you get this done, William? Well, while you slept, I wrote out a list and had it prepared. And you remember a while back, I had this young knight go look at the gifts of knowledge to make miniatures. So when you give me the test of my strategic skills, I'll be able to use these pieces. Well, I also slipped him the note with certain instructions, and he was to inform Miss Sandy about it. So she was in on this as well. Well, she wouldn't have known about it until after she read the note that he would give to her. I see. All right, well, I think we can take the rest of the day off then, and I'd like to see this human custom you call Thanksgiving. So they leave the Hall of Genealogical Records, past the staircase that leads to the other library, and eventually make their way into the dining hall. Tyrion then comes in, and as everybody else comes in, everybody seems to be surprised. Tyrion hasn't noticed yet, and gets himself some wine. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, I'm in a good mood. What are you thanking me for? And I have nothing that I'm giving. No, Tyrion. It's a human custom. I kind of briefly explained it to Daenerys. it's like a holiday, not a holy day, but that's what they call it in my world. You eat and you drink and you be merry and have a lot of things to be thankful for, like your health, the fact that you're married, and well, I'm thankful that Daenerys found me on the beach. She could have left me to her dragons if they would have found me, although I would have been bony and been their Thanksgiving meal. Again, this is more funny humor. Sonny even finds this to be a bit humorous. Um, so, this is something you do all the time. No, Masani, we only do it once a year. But our year is probably not as long as yours. One day, I will have to tell you a little bit more about my world when the time's right, about how long our year is compared to yours. We don't have the longevity like you do. We used to, but not anymore. I see. So, after Daenerys and Missandei kind of look at each other with a slight smile, well, then I guess we should go ahead and start this human custom you call Thanksgiving. Yeah, so Tyrion sits at the table, and his eyes seem to be quite big, as there is quite the food to eat. And how did you pay for this, William? Well, you don't need to worry. I use my own allowance to do it. I see. Well, with your permission, I'd like to make a toast. Go ahead, William. So William stands up then, taps the glass, gets everybody's attention. To my best friend Tyrion Lannister, though I am just a human, and this is probably going to be strange to you all. This is a human custom, and to my beautiful queen who has accepted me to sit at her right hand, following in her stead, Daenerys Stormbird of the House Targaryen. Though this be a human custom, I am thankful to be amongst friends. And so I wish you all, in a human custom, happy Thanksgiving. And so with that, then, they all begin to eat, and this ends the day. Okay, this is going to be a special narrative note. This is one that I'm doing just special because, yes, I know Thanksgiving is come and gone, but unfortunately I don't work that fast. But when I'm doing it solo and getting my rough draft production out. But this is something I wanted to specially do. So, to all Game of Thrones cast, you know who you are. Sorry, these photos aren't the recent, but this is all I could find. You know who you are. And I'm hoping that anyone who visits YouTube, you'll be able to spread the word that I sent special greetings to you all. George R.R. Martin, the author of Game of Thrones, and to the HBO staff. Can't leave them out either. I believe they've earned their pumpkin pie. Sending a special Thanksgiving season wishes to you all. I have to tell you something funny. Working with a lady she's told me she's worked with Johnny Depp and has to help people reach their dream and goals. She found it quite interesting because, well, I didn't do the main course. My stepdad does, but I did one blueberry pie, one sheet pan of brownies, two pumpkin pies, two cherry cheesecakes, and two apple crumble pies. And I told Alicia that I would send a pie over, but you might need a hairbrush for it. I'm not going to say anything further. You just have to use your imagination. So I would say to somebody, if I should ever find the Queen of my Heart or Emilia Clarke, I wonder if I could bake my way to a English lady's heart. I do know how to cook, but anyway, just thought I'd pass it on. So, from me to all of you, happy Thanksgiving.